Hi, I'm Veronica Wasek with 5-Minute Bookkeeping, and I help creative online sellers to set up, organize, and streamline their financial systems, whether you want DIY, done with you, or done for you financials. In this video, I'm going to show you how to record Shopify sales in QuickBooks Online step by step. How to record Shopify sales in QuickBooks Online with a journal entry step by step. Many of you have asked me how to do that in the comments, and even though I've shown you a great tool that you can use to automate Shopify and QuickBooks Online, mainly A2X, some of you have said that you still want to know how to record those entries manually, perhaps because you can't afford A2X right now, or you just would like to know how to do it the manual way. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you step by step where to get those amounts from Shopify to make the entry and how to make the journal entry in QuickBooks Online. Let's go ahead and get started. First, we'll need to get some reports from Shopify. From the left navigation bar in Shopify, select Analytics and Reports. You may not see reports depending on the version of Shopify that you're using, but do look for the finances report in Analytics. Once you click on Reports, you'll need to scroll down till you see the section for Finances and then click Finances Summary. From the Finances Summary, select the date of the transactions that you want to record in QuickBooks and make sure that you also select all channels. In this example, I'll go ahead and run the report for March 12th. So the starting and end dates are March 12th. And click Apply. After you run the report for the desired date, you'll see a report like this. It will list sales and all the components of sales, liabilities, payments, and I'll talk about that in just a moment, and also some gross profit information. Notice on the upper right that it's showing us some information about the payment gateways that were used. In this particular case, PayPal and Shopify payments were used. Now we'll need to get additional information to record our Shopify payments transactions. So go to Shopify Home. Look on the right side. You may need to scroll down a bit and look for the payout schedule. And then click View All Payouts. You'll need to select the corresponding payout and click on the date to view more details. If you recall from the finances report, on March the 12th, we received $354.88 from Shopify payments. So we'll need to look for this amount. So let's go ahead and do that. And we actually find that in the payouts, it's dated March the 16th. We can see the amount $354.88. And if you'll recall, our example is based on sales made on March the 12th, but the payout is dated March the 16th, and that's just because there's a difference between the time when the sales are made and when the payouts are made by Shopify payments. So we'll need to click on that payout transaction to view the details. And when we do that, we'll see something like this. And you'll be able to see the transactions, so all the different transactions, the dates, reference numbers, the transaction type, the different amounts, as well as the fees. You can see that here too as the total fees here, the breakdown of all the fees right here, and then any refunds or any adjustments. And notice that the amount deposited in the bank account was $339.40, and that's because although the gross sales were $354.88, there was a deduction of $15.48 for fees. So again, the amount deposited in the bank account was $339.40, and that's because fees were deducted from the sales amounts. Okay, so now we're going to pick up the amounts that we need to make a journal entry in QuickBooks. And we'll need to get that from the finances report and also from the payouts report. We'll start first with the finances report, and I have coded all the transactions that you'll need to pick up. I've coded them and numbered them for you from 1 to 6. And I'm picking them up from the sales area and from payments. In some cases, you may also need to pick up the liabilities, but in order to keep this example simple for you, I've ignored that. Okay, so we'll also need to pick up some amounts from the payout report, and I have also tagged these amounts as well. And primarily we're picking up the fees, the amounts that were deposited in the bank account, and any adjustments. We'll need to pick up the amounts that I indicated from the finances report and the payout report. I've put together a chart that will help you to pick up the amounts that you need. And if you notice that I have numbered and color coded them, and these numbers from 1 to 6 are coming from the finances report, and then the blue numbers from 1 to 3 are coming from the payouts report. So let's take a quick look again so you can see that. Here are the numbers that you need to pick up from the finances report. So for example, your gross sales, discounts, returns, shipping income, taxes withheld, and PayPal payments are picked up from the finances report. And then from the payout report, we're picking up fees, the amount deposited in the bank account, and adjustments. Then you'll see all of those listed here, where they're coming from, the QuickBooks Online account that you need to use, whether it will be a debit or a credit in the journal entry, and I'll talk you through that in just a moment. And then any comments that might help you. For example, the amount of Shopify discounts shows up as a negative in the finances report, but you would enter that as a positive amount in this chart. Next, you need to set up the Shopify accounts that you'll need in the QuickBooks Online chart of accounts. If you don't have these accounts already, then make sure that you set them up. We'll need a Shopify sales. That will be an income type, and the detailed type is sales of product income. I've listed all the other accounts as well: Shopify discounts, Shopify returns, Shopify shipping income, sales tax liability, Shopify PayPal clearing, Shopify fees, and Shopify payments clearing. I've listed all the account types that you'll need to add in the chart of accounts, as well as the detail types that you'll be asked for when you're adding these accounts in the chart of accounts in QuickBooks. And then I also made a couple of notations here. One about the sales tax liability. I've used the account type other current liabilities, and that is assuming that you are not using the sales tax center in QuickBooks Online. You probably shouldn't be if you are a Shopify seller, but that is the assumption that I have made. And the other note here is that I have used an account type for Shopify fees of cost of goods sold. So I have categorized those as cost of goods sold rather. Now, some people prefer to categorize these as expenses. You're more than welcome to do that. There is probably a 50-50 as to whether people consider it a cost of goods sold or an expense. If you also accept payment via other payment processors and other gateways, such as Amazon Pay, Affirm, and others, you'll need to customize your chart of accounts and your journal entry to add those additional accounts. Now, these transactions are more complex, and again, I'm trying to keep this example very simple, but you would need to set up some additional accounts. So for example, you might need to set up a Shopify Amazon Pay clearing account and a Shopify Affirm clearing account. And notice that for all of these additional payment gateways that we are setting up clearing accounts. These clearing accounts normally, at least the way I record them, are other current assets, and the detail type is the same. It's other current assets. All right, now that we have the information that we need, we're going to go to QuickBooks Online and we're going to make a journal entry. From the plus sign on the left-hand side, select Journal Entry. The journal entry window will open. Make sure that you change the date to the date of the sale. And then we'll use the chart that we filled out earlier to enter all of the accounts. Then we'll enter the amounts under the debit column and credits. And typically you do this one line at a time. So you would enter Shopify sales, it's a credit, and enter a description. And notice that I put whether the transaction should be a debit or a credit in the description to help you out. So that way you don't have to remember each time you're doing this. So again, just as a reminder, this information is coming from the finances report and the payout report in Shopify. We picked up all of that information from Shopify. We used this chart to help us pick up all the information, determine whether it was a debit or a credit, and then we enter the information from that chart into the journal entry. Now it's important to note that when you're entering a journal entry in QuickBooks, the total debits, so the amount of the total debits, has to equal the amount of the total credits. If they don't equal, then when you attempt to save the transaction, QuickBooks will let you know that you can't save it because the entry has to balance. So once your total debits equal your total credits, then save and close. That concludes my tutorial on how to record Shopify sales in QuickBooks Online using a journal entry. But there's still a bit more to go, so I'll save that for the next tutorial. And in that video, I will show you how to manage the clearing accounts as well as the amounts that you'll see in the bank feeds. So stay tuned for that tutorial. I'm Veronica Wasek with 5-Minute Bookkeeping. If you're ready to work with an experienced and reliable financial pro, then check the description box below to learn more about my services and to see if we'd be a good fit for working together. Also check the description box for all of my free resources as well as the link to join my Facebook community. If this content is helping you, make sure that you comment, like, share, and subscribe to this channel so you can get all of my latest videos.